Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. The title of this one is called The Battle of Norn. And for those that haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, it's actually the Battle of Northern Ireland. Now, this is where I'm from, a small town called Coleraine in Northern Ireland. And Northern Ireland only has a population of about 1.8 million people. But we've had our fair share of decent groups and bands, and I think our biggest pride is Van Morrison from Belfast, who's very well respected all over the world, but he is a grumpy old git, but still he's an excellent songwriter. But between 1979 and 1982 we had two bands that were actually pretty damn good, and they released 4 albums apiece. And they were the Undertones from the second city in Northern Ireland, Derry/Londonderry, and Stiff Little Fingers from Belfast. Now they both split up in 1980, at the end of 1982, but then reformed again. Stiff Little Fingers reformed at the late 80s, and it wasn't until the early 2000s when the Undertones reformed without Fergal Sharkey. Excuse me. Now, as I say, they had 4 albums each, so I'm going to do a bit of a face-off between them, and we shall see who wins. I love the both bands, to be honest with you. I think they're both great, but who would actually be probably the best? So what I'll do is we'll put each album up against each other, the 1979 album, then the 80 album, the 81 album, then the 82 album. And a point will be given to the winner, and if I can't make up my mind, they'll both share the half a point each. So to start off with, in 1979 the Undertones released their debut album, Undertones. Now it was reissued later on that year as this, which is even better, but I'm not going to count this. This actually features Teenage Kicks and Get Over You, but they weren't originally released on the actual original album. This is a fantastic album. This is really good album. It's got Jimmy Jimmy's on it and Here Comes the Summer were the 2 hits, even though this is the LP version. The single version of Here Comes the Summer featured on the reissue, but things like Girls Don't Like It, True Confessions, Listening In, She's a Runaround, they're very pop punk based, and obviously they get their influence from the Ramones. The Undertones, unlike Stiff Little Fingers would have sung a lot about the troubles in Northern Ireland, which was at a height around that time, whereas these guys sang about chocolate and girls. So there was quite a bit of difference. There wasn't too much political singing on any of these Undertones albums, but they're fantastic albums. That Family Entertainment, Jump Boys, I just love this album. It's an absolute classic. So this is the Undertones debut from 1979. And in 1979 Stiff Little Fingers released Inflammable Material, which is another excellent album. Suspect Device, I said before, you play that and you know the glass in your windows shatter. Alternative Ulster with its mega cool beginning, the guitar solo. Barbed Wire Love is a tale of love between the 2 divides, and little songs like Here We Are Nowhere is fantastic, as is Wasted Life. Another brilliant, this is more punk. These guys were influenced more by the Pistols and the Clash. This is another real fantastic album, Inflammable Material. It got to, I've got written this down here, number 14 in the charts, while the Undertones debut got to number 13. So Inflammable Material. So which would be the best of the 2? I would have to give it to the Undertones, because it's one of the best debut albums ever. So that's 1-0 up to the Undertones. Undertones' second album in 1980, Hypnotized, features 2 hit singles, Wednesday Week and My Perfect Cousin. Yeah, this is more of the same, but not quite as good. This is a great song called More Songs About Chocolate and Girls. Tearproof's a great little number as well. They do a good version of Under the Boardwalk and Hard Luck, another good song. It's a good album, nothing wrong with it, it's a good album, but it doesn't have the same oomph as the debut, but I still really like it. So that's Undertones, Hypnotise. And in the same year, Stiff Little Fingers released this one, which is Nobody's Hero. Is it Nobody's Heroes, or is it Nobody's Hero? It's Nobody's Heroes. Side one of this is perfect. Gotta Get Away, Wait and See, Fly the Flag, At the Fence, At the Edge, sorry, and Nobody's Heroes, or Hero this time. Side 2, however, is not as good, with Tin Soldiers being the highlight without a doubt. The singles off this were At the Edge, which got to number 15, and that was their highest ever charting position. And Nobody's Hero, a double A side with Tin Soldiers, got to number 36. The other songs in side 2 aren't quite as good. There's a version of Doesn't Make It Alright, the special song, which is okay. I Don't Like You's not great. No Change is not great, and Bloody Dub's alright. But this is probably my favourite Stiff Little Fingers album, especially for side 1. So between Hypnotise and Nobody's Heroes, I would give it to Stiff Little Fingers. So that's 1-1. 1981, and the Undertones released Positive Touch with the hit single It's Gonna Happen, which got to number 18, and the second single off this was Julie Ocean, which didn't do any well. It was good, but the thing about this album is they changed their style. They went more soulful, and I applaud them for it. So yeah, but the songs, it's a good album. Like Fascination is a good song. When Saturday Comes is very good. The title track, Positive Touch, yeah, I like it. It's not my favourite Undertones album, but I think I like it really because they did change their musical direction. So good album. In the same year, Stiff Little Fingers released Go For It. Now these guys, they changed it a little bit with songs like Silver Lining. They brought in horns. Just Fade Away is a great song. It's a little bit more mellower in the voice than the previous 2 albums, so it's a little bit more radio friendly. Roots, Radicals, Rockers and Reggae is the opener, and this is a cover version, and it's a great little number. Piccadilly Circus is a great song, as is Kicking Up a Racket. One of the best songs off this actually is called Gate 49, which is the gate you always had to go through to get from Heathrow to Belfast. And yeah, it's a really catchy little rock and roll number. It doesn't vary too much from the previous album, but it's a good set of songs. So for this one, the Positive Touch, I'm going to have to give it a draw. So that's 1.5 points each altogether. And their last album, the Undertones, Sin of Pride 1982. This didn't feature any hit singles at all. There were singles, but they weren't hits. Chain of Love's a great song, reminds me a lot of the House Martins. Gotta Get You Back's a good song. Love Parade's good. It's a fine album, but it is again very soulful, but maybe not quite as strong as the previous album, Positive Touch. So it didn't do too well. It didn't manage to chart. So this is the Undertones' last album with the original lineup from 1982. And in 1982, Stiff Little Fingers released Now Then, which featured the single Bits of Kids, which didn't do too well, and Talk Back, and what's the other one that they had? The Price of Admission, which is not a great song. However, it does feature Is That What You Fought the War For, which is a rousing number. A fantastic version of Love of the Common People. Won't Be Told is a great number as well. Bits of Kids, the song itself, is one of my favourite singles of theirs. Again, they haven't changed much from the previous album, so they're still rocking out, but it's still a little bit more polished than the very earlier albums. So between this and the Love Parade, I would actually give this the nod. So that is 2.5 to 1.5 for Stiff Little Fingers. And I'm going to give a half a point for the best album of the lot. It won't affect the score line. And the best album of the lot, I'll show this one just, is Undertones' debut. Now I'll get the other one out, the proper one. There we go, the Undertones debut. So that gets an extra half a point, which brings it up to 2 points for the Undertones. So that's Stiff Little Fingers 2.5, Undertones 2. So there you go. SLF win the Battle of Norn. I hope you enjoy that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. Okay, now all the best. Bye bye.